Schrock Innovations presents the Midwest #1 independent computer repair company with service centers in Lincoln, Omaha, Papillion, Des Moines, and across the country via the Schrock desk. This is Compute This.
Good morning, folks, and welcome into Compute This. My name is Thor Schrock. I'm the owner of the Schrock Innovations Computer Company. Number to join us on the program today, 888-250-2091. If you're not familiar with what Schrock Innovations is, it's an innovation thing you wouldn't understand. But no, if you're unfamiliar with what we do, if it touches a computer, Schrock handles it. So everything from your break fix computer repair, that's where we got started. Hey, my computer isn't working right, let me fix it. Then we moved from that into, hey, my computer isn't working right and my hard drive has failed and I've lost all my data. Can I get it back? That's our data recovery lab that's housed in our Omaha service center. Of course, all of our locations act like satellite drop-off points, and we transfer back and forth between there. So you can drop off a data recovery at any of our locations, and then we take care of getting it recovered for you. Then from there, we branched off into, hey, I need a website, and I don't really know where to go to get that done. And I don't know, everybody's online, and I can collaborate online, but sometimes you want to just sit down in a room with a sketch pad and say, this is what I want it to look like. Or this is what, come see my business, and this is, make it look like my business. So we started Schrock Interactive, where we build websites and design software, and that came in pretty handy this week, and we'll tell you about that in a second. So literally, if it touches a computer, we build new computers. We have the holiday special going on right now. We have our normal line of new computers. We are vigorously fighting the chip shortage. It is impacting us pretty significantly. We've made all kinds of adjustments and backflips and twists to not raise the prices of our computers while the prices of every other computer around us is going up. As a result, we're selling more computers than we have ever sold before. We're not making as much money. That's very true, but we're gaining customers. And the thing about Schrock that, we've been around we started in 1999, so 22 years now. The thing that keeps a company sticking around 22 years is focusing on the relationships it has with customers rather than the one-time hits or the hey, I can make a few $100s here or a few $1,000s there. If you instead focus on making sure that your customer is happy and satisfied so that they come back every time in the future for you, that is going to get you a much better result in the long run. All right, so I mentioned that we have a lot to go over on the show today, but first I want to mention, if you missed last week's show, it was a really great show. Last week we warned you about we warned Costco customers about the fact that there was a breach, card skimming on the gas pumps in undisclosed locations. Costco's not saying where it happened, so we don't know if it happened here or not. But basically, if you're a Costco member, make sure that you keep an eye on your Costco account to make sure there's no unauthorized charges there. We also told you about a rare act of constructive bipartisanship in the passage of the Secure Equipment Act, passed through the Congress, passed through the Senate, signed by Joe Biden. Didn't hear about that in the news at all. If you probably didn't even know that happened if you weren't listening to Compute This. Good stuff there to help harden the grids and do things. So that's good stuff there. Also, we told you about Apple's latest attempt with the iPhone 13 to basically kill independent phone repair shops. We don't do a whole lot of phone repair, but we do, keep an eye on these kind of things and say, it's not cool to try to destroy a bunch of small businesses, if you know what I mean. It's not nice. So we'll keep you posted on that front as well. So that was last week's show. If you missed it, you can jump onto the website, SchrockInnovations.com, click on the Compute This tab, and on that tab you can find all the previous radio shows as well as the little show that we do after the broadcast show called the After Schrock. Which is all the tech stories that didn't fit into the program, opinions on wide-ranging topics. If you have specific questions you want to ask and, they were kind of too deep for the radio show, something we can't answer in a 2-minute phone call, then, the Aftershock is the place for that. We try to keep it light and entertaining, and it's pretty good. You might want to check it out. It's facebook.com/Schrock Innovations right after the program concludes. Where, by the way, we are broadcasting live right now. You can watch the show, facebook.com/Schrock Innovations. All right, so coming up on the program today, Microsoft launched Windows 10. This is Windows 10, not 11, Windows 10 21H2 this week. So it's something, if you have not run your Safe Upgrade software yet, that's something you definitely want to do. Holiday special still in full effect, laptop and desktop both available still. Windows 11, the rollout is getting more intense. We're going to talk about that on the show today. Ford announced that they're taking steps to eliminate the chip shortage, not only for Ford, but for the entire automotive industry. So that was pretty exciting. So we're going to tell you what's going on there. Also, if you're a user of QuickBooks, we have an important update for you that may change the way that you use your QuickBooks software. So you want to stay tuned for that one coming up here on the program as well. Now, 21H2 for Windows 10, that's if you're not familiar, if you're running Windows 10, 21H2 is the latest version of Windows 10. It's important that you don't go more than 2 versions behind on your Windows 10, because if you do that, you lose all the security updates that keep your computer safe from exploits, and we don't want to have that happen. So we got to make sure you stay within 2 versions. Well, 21H2 was just released, so if you were not current before, now you are out of favor, basically. You're not going to get security updates. So it's important to upgrade that. Now, a lot of customers don't like these updates. The main reason they don't like them is because they tend to break things. 21H2 is no exception. It was a difficult update this time around. A lot of people who tried to do it, even with the help of Safe Upgrade, experienced difficulties. We had to make some on-the-fly adjustments. We literally had to recode new software and push it out to people to get around some of the glitches that were new in this cycle. It just goes to show you, same old, right? Nope. It's never the same old, same old. So basically, this one was tricky. I installed it on a computer that I'm running at home using Windows Update, and it took forever, forever. And this is not a bad computer. It's basically one of our endeavors. It took forever. And the reason, it's supposed to download over time to the computer so that when it's launch day, it can install quickly. That didn't happen for some reason for my computer, and I'm not sure if it happened for your computer or not. But one of the reasons that we made Safe Upgrade is 80% of the time things go great with these updates, and there's no problems. Sunshine, rainbows, birds twerping in the background, the whole bit. 20% of the time, not so many birds. Things go bad. Things go sideways. You lose data. The computer doesn't reboot. The update won't install, or it fails repeatedly. All kinds of issues that you would run up against with this thing. So and it seems to hit the same people every time. And so those people come into the service center every 6 months upset because they have to pay money to fix their computer because their free update broke it. The free update that they didn't want for features they're not going to use. And it's just very frustrating for people. So as a result, we created Safe Upgrade. What Safe Upgrade does, when we install 21H2 on the bench in the service center, our failure rate is way lower than 20%. I would say maybe 1 in 50 comes back and says, something went wrong. And then we'll do like a BIOS update or something, crazy. And then all of a sudden it'll work just fine. So the failure rate on the bench is much lower. And we had to ask ourselves, why is it that customers at home are having such a higher failure rate than on our bench? Well, the main reason, aside from a bunch of computer repair technicians installing it, they know their stuff, they know what they're doing. They're installing it from flash drives, they're not downloading it. They're making the process easier. That's part of it. The other part of it, though, is going through the computer and making sure that everything is set up and working perfectly. So when that software is downloaded, it downloads as quickly as possible and installs. Now, when you get it from Windows Update, Microsoft only sends you the pieces of 21H2 that it thinks that you need to install the software on your computer. If they make a mistake, if your computer is too old and Microsoft doesn't test with it, if it's 18 months old and Microsoft doesn't test with it, because that's as far back as they go usually, then you may be missing a piece of the software that you need that has to be subsequently downloaded. And it causes all kinds of glitches and issues. When we send you the update with Safe Upgrade, you get the whole Anchorito. I mean, it's a big update. And we send the whole thing to you to make sure that if there's any piece that's needed, you have it right there on your hard drive before you start. That's the way we do it in the service center. That's the way we do it off the flash drives. Then once the update is rolling, we make sure that your hard drive is nice and stable and secure. Everything is working good there. We make sure your antivirus is up and running and that you've got protection, that you're not infected with something. We go through all these steps. We make sure your third-party software is up to date so that you don't have an outdated version of Adobe Reader blowing something up because it's not compatible. We don't want any of those things to happen. And so as a result, once you get all that done, then we install the update. And like I said, most of the time it goes perfectly. This time around, we had a lot of people that had issues getting the update to install. We had a lot of Schrock desk calls. At one point, we were at capacity on the Schrock desk between the 4 service centers. We literally had no seats available to help people if we wanted to, which is why we limit the number of copies that we sell. I've always said, we only sell 500 copies of this because if something ever goes sideways, we want to be able to deliver award-winning service to our customers. And if I sell 5,000 copies of this stuff, which we could do, how am I supposed to deliver award-winning service at that point? There's just no way we can handle that many people calling and coming in all at one time. So what we're going to do today, guys, is we're going to tell you a little bit about some changes that are being made with the Windows 10 updates. They're going annual now, just like Windows 11. We were wondering how this was going to work. Was Windows 10 going to be semi-annual every 6 months and Windows 11 was going to be annual? That didn't seem to make a lot of sense. And so now we're looking through this and saying, okay, now everything is going to be annual. So good news is 1 update a year means you don't have to worry about safe upgrade twice a year. You don't have to worry about these updates twice a year. Yay, you're going to save money. That doesn't happen anymore. That doesn't happen in America this year. You don't save money, but you're going to save money because you are going to be able to run everything once a year and be done with it. The bad news, Microsoft split it into 2 installments for a reason. The 2 installments, basically, the spring version sets the groundwork, puts the railroad tracks down, makes sure that all the infrastructure's in place before, and tests it all, right? Gives it 6 months of time to bake in. If there's any glitches or problems, they can find them, fix them, adjust them. The fall update, the one we're getting right now, is the biggie. It's the one that adds features, makes things different, changes interfaces, does all kinds of crazy stuff. Well, guess what? Now they're going to do them both at the same time, and absolutely nothing could go wrong with that. It's going to be fantabulous. It's going to be a nightmare. It's going to be like the old service pack days again. Remember service packs for Windows XP where you get this gargantuan roll-up update? It's going to be like that, except they're also going to introduce new features. So that's something to look forward to, right? I don't know if it's going to be timed to coincide with Windows 11 releases. That sure would be handy, wouldn't it? We're going to have to make a whole different a safe upgrade 11 and a safe upgrade 10, I think, just to keep it all straight. It's going to be so weird. But with that said, we're going to have your back on it, guys. If you have not run your safe upgrade software, the time to run it is now. We sent phone calls. We sent emails. I put a post up on Facebook. We did everything we could do to make sure you all knew about it. But if you haven't heard, now is the time to run that software. All right. Also, now is the time to call the program. Number to join us on the show, 888-250-2091. Now, if you saw our picture that we posted on Facebook yesterday or the day before, literally we had pallets of freight arrive in the Papillion Service Center. If you've ever been into the 1,600 square foot Papillion Service Center, to call it a warehouse might be a little generous. Yes, we have a sizable back room and we have lots of space to do things. We don't have lots of space for pallets of freight. We don't even have a freight door. So the pallet has to be dropped outside the front door where a team of Schrock technicians descends like locusts and grabs the boxes like worker ants and carries them into the service center and stacks them up again. And we literally just move it in, then we pick the pallet up and then move the pallet in. So it's pretty funny, but we received like 75 cases, which was the big bottleneck on the holiday special desktops. Now, of course, now that we've got that taken care of and we're all rejoicing, because I got a weird eco tracking number. I've never seen an eco tracking number. I didn't know if that meant it was coming on an electric truck. I had no idea, but apparently our ship got unloaded and we got our delivery. So we are in excellent shape for delivering the holiday special. Then the processors go into shortage. So now we're dealing with that. We are limited to 5 new processors per week. So we are frantically working to make sure we get a supply of those chips in so that we can continue to crank out the holiday special desktop builds. The desktop builds are more difficult to build because they have more parts, right? You've got a motherboard, you've got processor, you've got memory, you have the DVD drive, which someone on Facebook was like, why are you still putting DVD drives in there? Like, that needs to go. And I'm like, I agree with you 100%, my friend. But every time we take it out of the computer, we literally have upset customers at the front desk complaining that they have to pay to add it back in because they want the DVD drive. I don't know what to do with that, right? So you want your cup holder. You know what you do with that? You give them their flipping cup holder. If a customer wants something in a product, you give it to them. So we put DVD drives in there. It's not hurting me to put them in there. It's a tiny little cost, to put it in there. But I mean, it's not, if we cut them out, we're not exactly, saving the farm, if you know what I mean. So the holiday special desktop is going along great. We were able to get the monitors in. We were able to get keyboards and mice. We sourced them from 3 different places because the Logitech keyboards and mice are in shortage. And I think this is going to be a theme going forward, probably late 2022, 2023. This is going to be, we're building computers in cases that look different than the display model. Then the display model was what the catalog has. And the case is the same. It's just a slightly different look. Great brand, not a cheap case. It's just one of those things. We can't get the Antec cases. We can't get any Antec cases at all. We can't get any Corsair cases at all. Those are what we normally order. Our backup cases that we normally get are the DIY PC cases. Can't get those right now. We sometimes order a rose wheel case if we really get desperate. Can't even get those now. We found we were cleaning in the Papillion Service Center because we had to make room for all the freight, and we found a honey hole of 4 ultimate upgrade cases from the spring. And we were doing like war whoop dances in the back room. Like, this is amazing, because now we can build boundlesses because we have cases. These cases, they're like $28 a piece back then. Same case today, $49 plus shipping. I mean, if you can even get them. And of course, then there's the guy on Amazon who's like, I've got $147 a piece. Or the other guy that's like, yeah, mine are still $29.99 with, $97 shipping. You're like, really? Now the laptops, that's been a much, much smoother experience thanks to Asus's really good supply chain. We're able to order them about 10 a week, roughly, is what we're able to get in. And we are only slightly behind in delivery. So basically, if you've customized yours, like we had a couple customers add 4 terabyte drives, solid states, things like that, 2 terabyte solid states. It takes a little bit longer to get them finished because we're waiting on different parts that aren't normal for the main build. But if you walk in the door, most of the service centers today have holiday special laptops in stock that you can pick up and take home. I believe the only exception is the Des Moines Service Center right now, and they're getting theirs on Monday. So all around, everything is going really well. If you're waiting on a holiday special computer, especially a desktop, those are getting built right now in the service centers so that we can get those delivered to you. That's why if you go to the website right now, you'll notice that the quantity available of desktops is only like 4, but the laptops, there's a bunch available. It's because we want to make sure that your expectation is set. Yes, when they go to 0, you will be able to back order, but it might take a week for us to get the computer built because we're waiting on the chips to come in. So, but we got our cases, and that's the good news. 888-250-2091. Going to take our quick break here, first break of the program. When we come back, Microsoft's Windows 11 rollout. Now, we talked about 10. Windows 11 is still rolling out to computers that are running Windows 10, and they're getting more insistent, and they're getting more intense. The lovely Kimberly could tell you all about this, as she hasn't had time to install Windows 11 yet, and Microsoft really wants her to do it. Every 3 minutes wants her to do it. So we're going to tell you all about what's going on with the Windows 11 rollout coming up next on Compute This.
Schrock Innovations Data Recovery Lab saves the data the other guys can't. The next time your hard drive, camera card, or flash drive fails, let Schrock get your data back. External hard drives are handy. You can back up multiple computers to them or even use them to move lots of data from one computer to another. Computer users have been buying the same old external hard drives for years. While our computers have been getting faster, we still do backups that take hours or watch epic progress bars creep by to move files. Schrock wanted more for our customers, so our innovators created the fastest external hard drives on the planet. Schrock modular storage devices are up to 50% faster than Seagate or Western Digital externals and are modular in the truest sense of the word. We can create whatever size and speed of drive you you need for all of your needs. And all modular storage devices come with a data restoration guarantee. If you use our drives for backing up and your computer's hard drive fails, we'll restore your backup to your repaired computer for free. Fast, simple, and flexible technology solutions from Schrock Innovations. It's what we do. Compute This pro tip number 753. Have you ever wondered how the bad guys always seem to find a way into your computer? Gone are the good old days of email worms and I love you viruses. Nobody wants to steal your data anymore, or in many cases even your identity. Today's cyber criminals want to sell access to your computer or hold your data for ransom. The bad guys are exploiting zero-day vulnerabilities to break into systems that are supposed to be hack-proof. These vulnerabilities are always newly discovered, and the criminals have a brief time to exploit them before they get patched. Antivirus and firewalls do not prevent these attacks, but you can minimize your computer's exposure by installing all security patches as quickly as possible. The average computer needs 12 patches a week. That's not including the ones that are automatically delivered to your computer. Boost your cybersecurity by staying on top of it manually, or use a patch installation program like Secure Updater to get your computer the patches it needs. This pro tip is brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
Alrighty, folks, we are rolling this morning. Welcome into Compute This. My name is Thor Schrock. I'm the owner of the Schrock Innovations Computer Company, where we are scrappily building computers faster than Ford can build F-150s. It's amazing stuff, I'll tell you what. Number to join us on the program this morning, if you have a question or a comment, 888-250-2091. Caller just called in, wanted to let me know that Zach in Papillion is doing an amazing job. And the thing about Zach in Papillion is, next week will be his fourth week at Schrock. Fourth week at Schrock. We went through a period, guys, where, and I appreciate all your patience. Anyone who came into the service centers was incredibly patient with us. But we went through a period of time where we just couldn't find good people. And the people that we did find, that, half of them pan out, half of them don't, roughly, just kind of how life works. I saw some statistics yesterday. Nebraska has the lowest unemployment rate right now of any state in the nation at any time in history. Our unemployment rate is 1.9% with a 68% workforce participation rate. Before the pandemic, Nebraska was at 70% participation. It's just insanity. The finding good people is very difficult, and Zach is amazing. He was hired on to be a part-time guy at Schrock. I'm really good with faces and bad with names. So because he was part-time, I never saw him. So I kept getting these calls and emails like, Zach is doing the first one I got said Zach is doing a great job. I got this email, and I thought a customer just got the name wrong. It happens all the time. I talked to Fuller over there. Oh, do you mean Thor? Yeah. Oh, I talked to Forrest. Did you mean Thor? Yeah. So we all have Lamar. Like, is it because he's black? I mean, his name is not Lamar. His name is Chris, It's like, how did you? Anyway, but so it's funny. Customers find funny names for us, and then they just get those names stuck. And so we get that all the time, and we just kind of roll with it. So I'm like, who is Zach in the Papillion Service Center? So finally, I go up to Corby. I'm like, do we have a technician here in Papillion named Zach? And he goes, yeah, he's been here 3 weeks. I'm like, does he work today? And he said, yes. And he goes, I said, I don't do the hiring anymore. Parker does all the hiring now. And so I said, I need to sit down and talk to Zach. And, Corby was like, oh my gosh, what's going on? I'm like, I am getting compliments left and right about this guy. And I want to sit down with him and just say, thank you. Thank you for doing such a great job for our customers. And I did. And he was so happy. Just a good kid all around. We got some solid new hires, especially in the Omaha and Papillion service centers. In the Lincoln Service Center, we are looking for a front desk, preferably somebody that has some bookkeeping experience of some kind. Because my taxes for 2020 are still not done, and I'm not very happy about it. And I think we're going to be making some adjustments to our accounting, and some of the stuff we're going to in-house, and some of the stuff we're going to move to a different firm, I think. I don't know. I got to have some conversations about it. But, I really like my 2020 taxes finished some point soon. That's something for the aftershock. I'll tell you about that later. 888-250-2091. So the Windows 11 rollout is getting more intense. Right now, if you have a computer that supports Windows 11, so that's a 8th generation computer or older, those computers can all be upgraded to Windows 11. Now, an AMD computers, it's a little trickier. You have to have a Ryzen processor, and it has to be 3rd generation or higher. So Ryzen 3 3rd generation, Ryzen 5 3rd generation, or Ryzen 7 3rd generation. Any other expensive EPYC or Threadrippers they'll all be fine. But upgrading to Windows 11, it's not a bad operating system, guys. I'm using it right now. In fact, I'm running the show right now. It's broadcasting at facebook.com/Schrock Innovations on a holiday special laptop right now. We are on the Wi-Fi in the studio. For some reason, the wired connection wasn't working this morning, but lots of new variables this morning, so I'm not ready to call the engineer yet. Because we have a new computer, we have new everything going on. You might notice if you're watching, the green screen behind me looks a little different, a little more gray, maybe lighter. Green screen settings had to all be manually redone. So during the aftershock, while I was doing the green screen settings, my son Lou came downstairs, who's on a huge Hot Wheels kick. He's 3. He's on a huge Hot Wheels kick, and so of course I had to make a green screen up for Hot Wheels so that he could be in a Hot Wheels episode, right? And now that's all he wants to do. So he made me promise during the aftershock. He made Mom promise that he could watch the show, and that I would put the Hot Wheels background on the aftershock. So I'll put the Hot Wheels background up on the aftershock. It'll be kind of fun. But anyway, the Windows 11 rollout, number one, for computers that are compatible, Microsoft is getting a little more insistent that you should really do this. They're telling the lovely Kimberly on her computer roughly every 3 hours that she should install Windows 11. And I keep telling her, I can do it. I can do it when you're not using the computer. Like when you're making dinner, I could do it. It takes that much time. And she's been seeing me using it. She's seeing all the new computers going out the door with it, and it's running great for everybody. So there's no problem. There's no reason she's avoiding it. It's just a time thing that she hasn't had time to sit down. When she sits down to use her computer, she's got something to do. So she's not going to say, oh, let's update now, click, and then wait a half an hour. She's got stuff to do, so she's going to do it. She's a busy woman. So other customers, however, are going to start getting prompts that have not received prompts before. So what Microsoft is saying here is there are compatible computers that are right on the edge of compatibility that we have not pushed yet because there's been a driver here that's not compatible or something there that's not compatible. Now they're going to push all those people into Windows 11 regardless of the compatibility of their drivers. So if you're going to upgrade to Windows 11 and you haven't done so already because you're saying, oh, I can just do it at home on my own. You can, but if Microsoft hasn't been hammering you to do it like every 3 hours, that means your computer is probably in the class where it's likely to have some kind of an issue during or after the upgrade, where something doesn't work right, which I suspect that might be the issue of why I'm on Wi-Fi in the studio today, because my little dongle, because they don't put Ethernet ports on laptops anymore. So my little dongle on the side here that I'm using may not be Windows 11 compatible. It was Windows 10 compatible. But there may not be, it shows up, it installs as a driver. I mean, everything is there. It says it should be working. I got a solid connection that says the engineer did his job, but I'm on Wi-Fi. So something's not working. So we'll have to troubleshoot that. But right before the show wasn't the time to do that. So one of the things I want to warn you about is if you are going to install Windows 11, you can definitely try to do it at home. If you have an issue afterward, please give us a call in the service center. We're here to help. We've been installing Windows 11 for lots of customers. A lot of them came in while we had it on special last month, but customers are coming in. We can get you upgraded to Windows 11. Windows 10 is only good until 2025, and Windows 11 is where all the new features and functionality are going to be. In fact, in upcoming updates, you'll be able to run Android apps on your Windows computer. Which is amazing because think about all the stupid things you have to do on your phone because you can't do them on a computer. Think like your Ring Video doorbell. Or, I mean, you're working from home, right? If somebody's at the door, wouldn't it be cool if that could just pop up on your screen on your computer rather than your phone ringing and you have to stop working and you have to grab your phone and you got to look at it and, oh, somebody's at the door. It would be great just to have that all on your screen, wouldn't it? Or security camera settings. You have the app that monitors everything. Well, now you could have the app on your computer. So it's pretty neat stuff, and we're excited to see that update coming out for Windows 11. So it's a great operating system. I'd encourage you to get to it. But if you do that, keep in mind that if all of a sudden Microsoft starts pushing you, that you might have an issue installing it. Make sure you install it when you have some extra time on the backside to deal with any issues, not right before a radio show when you're trying to go on the air. 888-250-2091. Going to take our bottom of the hour break, but please stay with us. Coming up on the program, Ford is taking steps to end this chip shortage that's going on. Big steps. We're going to tell you what's going on there. Maybe they'll finish my F-150. Also, if you use QuickBooks, I have an update for you that was sent to me from a listener, actually. Asked me to look into it and cover it, and it is newsworthy. It's one of those things where, Kirk sent this to me. People who use QuickBooks are going to want to know about this. So we're going to tell you what's going on there and why you might have to buy a new version of QuickBooks soon. Coming up next on Compute This.
Schrock Innovations repair technicians also make house calls. Make an appointment and let us bring our award-winning computer support right to your home or business. Schrock Innovations has spent nearly 2 decades working to make your technology life easier, and the all-new SchrockInnovations.com is no exception. Now you can order new modular computers and solid-state laptops directly from our website, secure your computer with our virus-free guaranteed semantic endpoint software, find innovative new technologies like our modular storage devices, and get free help and tips. Take a look at the special section to find sales on one-of-a-kind items, display models, refurbished units, and our latest special offers. Swing by the Compute This page to watch TV segments and archived radio shows, or even get one-on-one help through the Schrock Desk. As always, we respect your privacy, so we secure our website with the latest encryption technology and only the most secure payment methods. You can pick up your purchases at any of our 3 service centers or have them shipped directly to your door. The new SchrockInnovations.com makes technology simple. It's what we do. And now Compute This Pro tip number 373. Everyone knows we're supposed to back up our computers and then check those backups periodically to make sure they're working. So why don't most people do it? Lots of people have different ideas about what backing up means. Is it copying files to a flash drive? Is it using a fancy backup program? And how do you know it's working anyway? Windows makes backups easy through free software that's already on your computer. Open your control panels and click Update and Security. Select Backup and choose from all of the available options to get a regular, reliable checkup. You'll need something to back up to, like a Schrock modular storage device or some other backup hard drive. Backups usually run once a week, but you can always change the frequency. The best part is that if your backup ever fails, you'll see a notification in the lower right corner by your clock telling you something's up. Backing up your important data has never been easier. So take a moment to back up your computer today. This pro tip brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
Fox News, I'm Karen McHugh. In Colorado, officials are trying to advance a potentially life-saving COVID treatment.
Colorado Governor Jared Polis has expanded access to monoclonal antibodies for those at severe risk of COVID-19 complications. Residents no longer need a doctor referral before getting the treatment. Colorado's hospitals have been stretched by high COVID-19 caseloads.
Fox's Jessica Stone. Taking a look at some of today's NFL contests.
Cam Newton will be under center for the Carolina Panthers this afternoon, going up against his former coach Ron Rivera and the Washington football team. Chicago Bears looking to snap a 4-game losing streak as they face the Baltimore Ravens, while the Houston Texans are hoping to snap an 8-game schneid against the Tennessee Titans. A few other division matchups coming up today, including the Green Bay Packers facing the Minnesota Vikings, the Miami Dolphins taking on the New York Jets, and the Seattle Seahawks hosting the Arizona Cardinals.
Fox's Matt Napolitano. America is listening to Fox News.
Now, the News Radio 1110 KFAB Weather Watch.
Plenty of sunshine today, but windy and cooler with highs around 50 degrees and wind gusts up to 30 miles per hour. Clouds increase tonight with lows in the mid-20s. Partly sunny Monday with a high around 49. Highs near 60 degrees by Tuesday. With Omaha's most accurate forecast, I'm 6 News First Alert meteorologist Mallory Schnell.
Alrighty, folks. Thanks for sticking with us through the break there. My name is Thor Schrock. I'm the owner of the Schrock Innovations Computer Company, where we fix computers, we build new computers, laptops, desktops. We recover data from failed devices. We build websites and software. If it touches a computer, we handle it at Schrock Innovations. The number to join us on the program today is 888-250-2091. That's 888-250-2091. All right, so one of the things I want to mention here on the program is we do a show called the Aftershock at the conclusion of the show here, the broadcast show. That is also at facebook.com/Schrock Innovations, where we're broadcasting live right now. The aftershock is extra stories that didn't fit in the broadcast time that we have here today. Little side notes and things like Hot Wheels backgrounds, just stuff that's not appropriate for the main program, right? So it's just all the people in Schrockville like to come in there and chill out and drink coffee and talk about whatever's on their mind. We'll talk a little crypto. We'll talk not a ton. We won't go like deep and bore the heck out of everybody with it, but there are some people who are interested. We try to keep it lighthearted and we try to keep it entertaining, if you will. So if you want to check that out after the program, you're welcome to. Facebook.com/Schrock Innovations. 888-250-2091 is the number to join us on the program. And as we do every week, we will give away a $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate to one lucky caller who calls the program, asks a question or makes a comment. They're in the drawing then for the $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate. I don't know if we're going to have to increase that. Do you think we should do that, Raj? I mean, inflation, Yeah. I mean, you have to pay people more to motivate them to work now. When you're paying a 14-year-old what we're paying 14-year-olds. He's a good worker, though. Man, the kid works hard. But my goodness, maybe we should. What's appropriate? What's like inflation? Let me think here. We're talking about Ford. The automotive industry sold 27% fewer new cars so far this year than previous year, than pandemic year, when no one was driving, because they can't get chips. They can't build the cars, so they can't deliver them. Like my F-150. Now it's a 2022 F-150. It was ordered in August. They just can't make it. I thought it was because I asked for the towing mirrors, like the big ear mirrors, because I got used to them on the F-350, and I'm like, gosh, I don't want to go back to the little car mirrors. I want the big mirrors. I'm like the old man, I want the big mirrors. I can see behind me. You have cameras for that, though. Yeah. But here's the other thing. Last month, now I brought this story to you a few weeks ago, that in the month of September, used car prices were up 9% month over month. They did it again last month. So I got curious. What is my F-350 worth with 40,000 miles on it in, very good condition? It's got some scratches in the paint, but mechanically it's perfect. My F-350 is worth what I paid for it with 40,000 miles on it. Can you believe that? Every month that Ford can't make my F-150, they're paying me money to wait because my truck gets more valuable. So I don't know. I mean, $50 gift certificate. I mean, $500 gift. I mean, what do we need to do here? So no, Ford is taking some steps though to try to make this chip shortage a little smoother, to try to to increase the production of chips. The problem that we have is, when you're talking about getting new foundries online, it takes time. Now, the chips that go into cars, if you ever turned on your car and watched your screen load, that's not a rocket ship of a microchip doing that. That is a 20 nanometer Chinese microchip doing the work that needs to be done to bring up your navigation menu. That's all it has to do. It's not running Windows or anything like that. They're really junky chips that they put in cars. They're not good. Now, the thing about junky chips is they use more power and they're slower. But if you have unlimited power because, I don't know if you have an electric car, maybe you want better chips so you don't use so much power. But when you're running, a 60-gallon diesel tank, you're really not too concerned about the power consumption of the stereo head unit. With that said, those chips, because they are so old and large and clunky and power hungry, nobody wants to use them in a smartphone. Nobody wants to use them in a laptop. Nobody wants to use them in anything that has a battery in it. So therefore, there's not a lot of demand for those chips outside of the automotive industry. And that's the problem. Because there's no demand for them, there's no production capacity for them. And so Ford just signed a deal to help tackle that problem. Ford struck a deal with the U.S. contract chip maker Global Foundries to patch America's auto industry semiconductor shortage. They signed an agreement with the Global Foundries to help create more semiconductors for Ford's lineup of vehicles and also the broader U.S. auto industry. Because, of course, if Ford has an interest in the foundry, every chip they sell to GM, here's the thing. If somebody is going to buy an Escalade and there's nothing Ford can do about it because they are loyal to the Escalade brand, the best thing you can do is to make the chips that go in the Escalade so you get a nickel for every Escalade that's sold. That's the best thing Ford can do, right? And also with Ford getting into the electrical market as well, having access to their own chip foundries where they can innovate and do chip designs. Ford is rapidly becoming a tech company, guys. The CEO of Ford came from an artificial intelligence background, an AI background. They're getting into chip manufacturing now. This car maker is really... I don't have any idea why their stock is as cheap as it is. You know, Rivian launches, they're going to make 70,000 vehicles next year, and they get like a $197 trillion market cap on their public offering. And you're like, it wasn't that. I don't have the numbers. I'm not a stock guy, but I don't have the numbers in front of me. But it was ridiculously large for a company that's going to sell 70,000 vehicles when like Ford sells millions of vehicles. GM sells millions of vehicles. And they're going to sell 70,000, but they're worth more than Ford or GM. It just doesn't make sense. But anyway, that's something for the aftershock. We can talk about that. But the foundries or the foundries that manufacture these chips left the auto industry short of chips after the pandemic changed expected demand for vehicles. No one wants to ride share anymore because of the pandemic. They don't want to get in a vehicle with anyone else. They want their own car. Semiconductor contracts span years, and as nations reopened after the pandemic, demand for new vehicles exceeded expectations. On top of this, chip makers focus on higher value chips like your NVIDIA chips for computers and smartphones using new manufacturing processes outstripped the older auto industry chips that are cheaper, constructed with older production techniques for components like microcontrolling units and in-vehicle displays. So your transmission microprocessor, it's an old chip. They don't make them. They don't make a ton of them because how many transmissions are you going to sell in a year? It's not like smartphones where everyone's got one in their pocket, right? Some people have two. So anyway, it's going to take probably until 2023 for the Ford deal to take full effect and for those chips to hit the market. Let's see. Yeah. EU is in the same boat here. This story goes on to talk about. But however, the global foundries wafer capacity, the current wafer capacity. So Global Foundries makes all the chips for cars, right? They are sold out. All available inventory is sold through 2023. Every chip they can produce is already sold. It's kind of like coal. Every piece of coal that's going to be pulled out of the ground in the next year has already been sold to somebody. Because we're all burning coal now. Green New Deal. Again for the aftershock. All right, number to join us on the program, 888-250-2091. So now that we know what's going on with Ford, one of the interesting things is Ford is getting, I mentioned that they're getting into microchips, but they also got into AI and software. Increasingly, we're finding that software is the engine, the motivation that's pushing companies and businesses forward. So right now it's hard to find workers, right? How do you offset that? I mentioned that we went through a patch where we were really shorthanded, like 1 or 2 short per service center, shorthanded. And I made a comment to my operations manager, Parker, and I said, could you believe like 3 years ago, we didn't have any of the automated functionality that we have from the current SchrockInnovations.com website. You couldn't order a computer online 3 years ago. You couldn't renew your subscription. You couldn't log into your Schrock account. You couldn't download your own software. All that stuff would have had to been done through emails and links and manual help or coming into the service center or phone calls. Can you imagine how absolutely behind the 8 ball we would have been shorthanded like this without that automation that allows people to take care of things themselves if they want to? We're still here to help people who want to be helped, but some people actually prefer to not deal with anyone. When is the last time you actually paid someone in person for your fuel? You pay at the pump now. I remember when I was a little kid, we'd pull up to the gas station and my dad, if he was feeling particularly wealthy that day, he would pull into the full service line. Guy would come out and pump the gas in the car, and say, would you like your windows clean, sir? And who's going to say no to that, right? But basically he's saying, are you going to tip me, sir? And so then, you fill up the tank or whatever and we drive off. Sometimes you'd have to get out and you'd have to pump your gas, and then you'd walk up to the window and you'd pay. Well, now you don't do that anymore. Go to the grocery store. And what I don't understand is, why does a grocery store have multiple self-checkout lanes and they're closed? but there's lines at the self-checkouts. But some of the units are closed. If they're offline, I get that. But it doesn't seem that they're offline. It just seems that maybe somebody doesn't want to count that drawer down or count that machine down at the end of the day. I don't know. But if you go to Target, if you go to Walmart, if you go to Hy-Vee, they may have 1, 2, 3 cashiers if you're really lucky. But the rest of them are all automated kiosks. Now, you ring out your own groceries. There's a line for the self-checkout at Walmart when my wife and I were there the other day. And I'm watching all these people ringing out their own groceries. And I'm thinking to myself, we've all been conditioned to accept price increases in the form of labor. Like we're checking out our own groceries, and that's saving Walmart money because they don't have to pay cashiers. And as a result, we are paying more in essence for what we're doing. It's crazy, and it's not just there. I mean, so at Schrock, right now our automated subscriptions for Sophos automatically renew. Secure Updater subscriptions will automatically renew as long as you have cards on file and you want them to renew. For those that don't, we have to contact you manually and say, hey, it's time to renew. So we have all that going on. But overall, it's just crazy the amount of automation that's gone into the economy. And it's going to continue to go into the economy when you have a 1.9% unemployment rate with 68% workforce participation. Iowa's not that far behind that. So, I mean, it's pretty full employment intense. It's a great time to be a kid getting out of high school and going into the job market, or getting out of college and going into the job market. It is a perfect time because literally you can throw a rock and hit a job. As long as you're a decent human being who can fog a mirror and doesn't smell bad, you'll probably get the interview. And you might even be over Zoom, so the smell thing might not even matter, just in case you don't want to take a bath. 888-250-2091. David, welcome to the program. How can I help you on Compute This today?
Yeah, good morning, Thor.
Morning.
My question today was you're talking about checking for the current Windows 10 version on your computer. Could you explain how a person can easily check that and find out which version of Windows 10 that they are running on their computer?
Yeah, that's a great question. Thanks for bringing that up, and I apologize I didn't do that. I should have told you how you can check and see what version you're running. So the easiest way to do this on Windows 10 is to right-click on the Start menu. So that Start menu is down in the lower left-hand corner of the screen. Normally you would left-click on it, but I want you to right-click on it. And this is going to open up a menu. Whenever you want more options, you right-click on something. In that menu, there's a selection called System. Left-click on System, and it's just a shortcut to the About the Computer window. So it's going to open up the About the PC, and if you scroll down, it will tell you what version of Windows 10 you're running, whether it's 21H1 or 20H2 or 21H2. Whatever version you're running, you want to be running 21H2. So basically, the 2.1 stands for 2021. H2 stands for half 2. So that's the current version that was released this previous week. If you're on 21H1, it's not the end of the world. It just means you're one version behind and we need to get you updated. If you're on 20H2, that's a problem because you're 2 versions behind and you're going to be missing out on security updates. And if you have any other version or a version that's all numbers, then you're really behind and you're really in trouble, and we can get you caught up pretty easily.
Okay, I understand. I'll right-click on the Start menu, left-click on System.
You got it. And then just check what version you're running.
All right. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate it. All right. See, there you go, guys. It's that easy. That's how you can get in and have a shot at that $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate at 888-250-2091. Going to take our final break of the program now. AJ, or is it Al? Al. Sorry about that. Al, stay on the line. I'm going to get my prescription checked, and we'll be right back with more on Compute This coming up next.
Update all of your third-party apps on your computer with Secure Updater. It keeps all your apps running smoothly and helps block viruses. Download it for free today at secureupdater.com. Some people like desktops for their power and upgradability, but nothing rivals a laptop for computing on the go. But why should you have to sacrifice performance for portability? The innovators at Schrock want our customers to have it all, so we created a new kind of laptop, the solid-state laptop from Schrock Innovations. Solid-state laptops are built using the same frame and mainboards as regular laptops, but we've removed half of the moving parts while more than doubling the computer's speed. The result? Laptops that boot to Windows in 6 seconds or less, respond instantly to your commands, and can survive drops that put most laptops into the data recovery lab. Starting at only $499, solid-state laptops give you speed, reliability, durability, and performance for the same price most people pay for a cheap disposable laptop. The next time you're looking for a laptop, check out the solid-state laptops at SchrockInnovations.com or visit any of our service centers. Simple, solid, fast technology is what we do at Schrock. Compute This Pro Tip 299. There are enough mothballed computers in U.S. homes to give one to every man, woman, and child in the country. Many of these computers find their way into landfills where they can leak cadmium, lithium, and other nasty chemicals into the groundwater. Schrock Innovations is very proud of the fact that we recycle more e-waste every year than we create. You can drop off any old or broken computer equipment to our service centers at any time, free of cost. We only charge $15 just for monitors because they are especially difficult to process. No appointment is required, and we accept all computer-related equipment like printers, keyboards, speakers, and accessories. Additionally, the rare earth elements in computers can be recycled right here in the U.S. to reduce our reliance on supplies from foreign countries. Take a moment, drop off your old computer equipment today, and Schrock will make sure it's properly recycled and put to good use right here in the U.S. This pro tip brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
Alrighty, folks, final segment of the program today, but the show doesn't have to end. Join us at facebook.com/Schrock Innovations for the After Schrock. Coming up next here after the broadcast show has ended. 888-250. People have asked me to say the number slower. 888-250-2091. Let's jump back into those phones. Al, welcome to the program. How can I help you today on Compute This, Al?
I got a question about this 21H2.
Yes, sir.
I monitor when I do an upgrade. I always monitor it with Task Manager and watch my data rate on the Wi-Fi thing.
Yeah.
And it's running somewhere between 4 and 5 megabits per second.
Okay.
How long do I need to set aside to do this?
Gotcha. So it depends on your hardware. Do you have one of our computers, Al?
I do. It's one of your Inspiron. It's got the A12 chip.
Gotcha. You said it's an Inspiron?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that one, I'm not sure if that one has a solid state because we haven't sold Inspirons for a while. So I'm not sure if it has a solid state. But that's really, if you don't have a solid state hard drive, it's going to take longer to install the update than it did to download it.
It has a solid state hard drive.
Okay, perfect. Perfect. So the download itself, again, there's a lot of variables here. The download itself usually takes less than a half an hour. The installation on a solid-state hard drive will also take less than a half an hour. So I would set aside maybe a full hour to download it and install it. And, of course, you can use the computer during much of that time while it's downloading especially. But it'll download. The other thing that's supposed to happen with these updates is Microsoft tends to send the bits down over time to your computer. So basically, you're going to get each piece of the update over time so that when it's launch day, woohoo, all of a sudden you have the whole update. You don't have to download it. But this one is behaving differently for some reason. And I think it might have something to do with the fact that they pulled a piece of the update out. Maybe they had to send all the bits again. I don't know. But for people in the future installing it, it'll probably be a lot quicker. But for people who are doing it now to make sure that they continue to get security updates, it does take a little bit of time to download.
Okay, well, I won't have any of that stuff ahead of time because I leave the thing turned off.
Oh, yeah, then you're going to need the whole Anchorito then.
Okay, so a full hour?
You got it. Full hour, I would say. I'd set aside a full hour for it to let it do its thing, make sure it doesn't go to sleep.
Make sure it doesn't go to sleep. Okay, it'll be hard for me to stay awake, too.
All right. Thanks for the call, Al. I appreciate it. We'll see if we can get you through to the end of the program here at least. All right. Number to join us, 888-250-2091. Dale, welcome to the show. How can I help you on Compute This today?
Yes, I heard that Verizon's getting into the Wi-Fi for computers. Can you tell me any more about that?
Well, Verizon's been putzing around with stuff like this for a while with their hotspots. I mean, the idea that you would have cellular over or Wi-Fi over cellular for your computer. In fact, I literally got the Wi-Fi password. This is a new laptop I'm broadcasting on Facebook on, so it didn't have the Wi-Fi password for the studio. And I haven't had to have that password since I started doing the show over a decade ago. So, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? I need the password. And everyone's still in bed. I don't have the password. I'm like, well, I'm going to have to use my phone's hotspot to broadcast through the T-Mobile network. So basically, Verizon's saying the same thing, that there's an untapped potential here where computers could actually use cellular signals to get internet, especially mobile computers like laptops that are going to and from. And a lot of the computers, especially tablets that are coming out now, and some laptops are actually coming with 5G chips inside the computers. We're seeing this on the more expensive ones or the ultra portable models, where you can actually get a cellular signal directly into the computer itself, where the computer, you pay $30 a month like the computer is a cell phone. So the only downside here is that Verizon's going to have to charge a lot for the internet connections, to the individual devices. But things like a hotspot can be shared like Wi-Fi. So yeah, there's a lot going on in the cellular market with internet connections and things like that are going on. But overall, I wouldn't be too terribly excited over the hotspot stuff. I don't like hotspots. They're metered connections, which means you only get so much connectivity, and then you have to pay extra. And if you go over your metered connection, then you pay a lot. And it changes the way your computer does all kinds of things. When you're on a metered connection, you don't get updates as frequently. Your antivirus doesn't update as frequently. It really changes some things that we'd probably want to be concerned about.
Well, my local cable is not very good at Wi-Fi because whenever I try getting on it, it gets unknown computer.
Really? So you're looking to maybe switch to somebody else?
Well, I've been trapped with this cable for years. It's your favorite cable company.
I've got a few.
I like your laptops, but I have to be internet cable connected rather than Wi-Fi, receive it good here.
Yep. Well, that's why we have the little USB adapters. Thanks for the call, Dale. I appreciate it. But yeah, they don't come. The laptops, none of them come with a Wi-Fi or a Ethernet connection anymore. Real quick, Intuit is getting rid of the desktop version of QuickBooks, guys. They're going to end it. And so that means you're going to have, if you use QuickBooks, you're going to have to move to the subscription model where you pay every year for it and you get web access and there's no software installed on your computer and all of your data is stored in the cloud. That's going to impact a lot of people. A lot of people still use desktop-based QuickBooks. Today's winner is Al. Congratulations. You got yourself a $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate. Marissa will get that out to you here on Monday, get it added to your Schrock account. If you haven't heard already, we're going to have a little bit of an after Schrock show coming up next, and we're going to stay tuned for that. Also, if you haven't done so already, download a free product we make called Drive Advisor from driveadvisor.com. It monitors the health of your hard drive and tells you in advance before the hard drive fails. It's a great program. It's completely free. Tons of our customers love it. We'll see you next weekend for another edition of Compute This.
From the Amish Furniture of Nebraska studio, your home for made in the USA furniture. This is News Radio